We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
And now, Reality Rants with Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and I'm just asking questions. And today's question is, are we going to allow not only the rebranding of Andrew Cappo Cuomo, but allow him to resit in the thrones and the throes of power in New York State, this time instead as the New York governor, America's governor, if you listen to the propagandists during the COVID 1984 nightmare, but this time as New York City mayor. Now, there are just so many things that we could go over in this regard. First of all, Andrew Cuomo was heavily promoted during this time period, and many people thought that that was going to end with him running for president against Trump in 2020. And the really scary thing is about this whole rebranding situation is Cuomo right here announcing his run for mayor just gaslights you start to finish. Tells you how he's the best thing since breakfast. How dangerous that time period was. And a lot of people will say, well, how can he get away with that? I hate to tell everybody, but there is a large portion of the population, and I would say probably the worst state where this is the case, that is still so heavily brainwashed and ignorant and ready to not only embrace talking head narratives on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, etc., but then parrot them verbatim again and again and again and believe them. And now, since Cuomo had to step down because of grab-ass allegations, we are ripe for that rebranding, which they allowed of his brother, the CNN anchor, who's now over at News Nation. So we're going to get into all this stuff. What I need you to do is thumbs up, subscribe, share. Folks, it's kind of the end of an era for me. For the last several years, I have had at least one paying show, two paying shows at times, and that's why I've really not been that heavy on the donations. Those days are gone. I learned today, essentially with no notice, but I saw the writing on the wall, that Making Sense of the Madness for Patriot.tv is pretty much done in its current form. There is no more pay to play. You'll probably see another couple posts of those shows with commercials. After that, it's going to be a new structure. And that's why I need your support now more than ever. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. There are other ways to donate, including PayPal. I want to thank Patricia for that donation today. Phil G, and Castillo, and he noticed my sore throat. It's actually starting to get better. Look, if you can't financially support me, totally get it. Please share the links. Go check out the alternative platforms, whether that be Rockfin, Rumble, or X. And really give me a follow on X, where obviously my growth and my reach is limited, but at the same time, there are plenty of stories on X that I quickly highlight that I may not go over here. So I want to thank again everybody that has supported me, and let's jump right into it. So already, the mainstream media, especially the local media, this is out of Fox 5 New York, is saying that Andrew Cuomo has led the latest New York City mayoral poll as speculation mounts. Now, I also want to say this. I'm not a fan of Eric Adams. Eric Adams, started to sway a little bit away from the Biden administration, the talking points, the illegals flooding in, and then you started to get that FBI investigation and that SDNY investigation into him. FBI raiding associates of his apartments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, look, that stuff is important. There's no doubt about it. I mean, but at the same time, I don't think that means that Eric Adams is a good guy. I don't think that means that he's not a criminal in the highest regards. Yes, he still is, but he happens to be one of those guys that will kind of go along with whatever's out there to get along. All right, so now Eric Adams says there's $80 million missing. The Trump administration has rebuked that. This is this week. But remember, the DOJ has dropped the cases against the mayor. And because he's pay to play, I would say that he's better than a Andrew Cappo Cuomo. Literal gangster, folks. Literal gangster. Cappo Cuomo, in conjunction with Kathy Hochul, who never won an election, was installed during this time period when he stepped down, and then narrowly beat Lee Zeldin. Again, not like I'm a Lee Zeldin fan, but I find it extremely hard to believe, even with the amount of people that were brainwashed, especially when you look at the votes that Trump got, that somehow she edged out Zeldin. Still not buying that one. And really, that's why you have to have real election reform coming up during these midterm elections. Okay? If you don't have voter ID and paper ballots in place, we are going to be rife with corruption. And we have to remember that so many in this country, states, legislators, media personalities, thrive off of the New York City or New York State narratives. Unfortunately, I love upstate New York. I miss a lot of it. I miss my family. But they are beholden to these NYC politics. So before we go any further and highlight some of these things about Cuomo, we're going to play this 1.5-minute gaslighting session from the Cappo himself. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Here he is.
COVID, my friends, was the greatest threat faced in a generation. It was life and death. It was as serious as it gets, and it was as scary as it gets. And New York, we had it first, and we had it worst, and we were on our own. And no one knew what to do. But what did we do? We came together, we stood tall, we stood strong, and we faced the challenge head on. And you know what? The nurses and the doctors, they showed up every day. Were they frightened? Yes. But they were courageous and they were committed, and that's New York. And you know what else? The police showed up every day, and the firefighters showed up, and the ambulance drivers showed up, and the utility workers showed up, and the food workers showed up, and the truck drivers showed up, and the building trade showed up, and everyone did their part. Everyone did their part. Everyone held their position. And we kept this place, this great place running, and we saved lives, and we led the nation. So can we handle this challenge? Can we turn the city around? You are damn right we can.
We saved lives, and we led the nation. Now look, this is on YouTube. Even though we don't even have 20 people, watching this live stream right now on YouTube with a channel with 70,000 plus subscribers. Now, I realize I'm going live up against Donnie T right now, but again, I'm not a Donnie T fanatic. This channel wasn't built on Trump. We're not right-wingers or conservatives here. We certainly criticize Trump, especially when it comes to things like foreign policy in Israel, decisions about cryptocurrency that also integrate track trace database and meme coinage like XRP. There's plenty out there. But again, the algorithm has me at a whopping 20 people watching this. And that's why if you're watching this somewhere else or you're watching the replay, I need your support now more than ever. So let's hit some of these stories. Now, first and foremost, again, when they made him step down, they did it in a manner where there was really never going to be any criminal consequences. All right? These were sexual harassment allegations, and none of them reached the level of like heinous physical sexual assault. There's a little grab ass in there, and I'm not encouraging that, but just think about how they were able to remove this guy through those grab ass allegations. Now, what people have to understand is that Cuomo is now suing all of these people, and he's probably going to win, unfortunately, because there were never any criminal cases. So he's suing the attorney general for the records, and now he's suing the former aide that accused him. Once again, you can expect that guy right there to unfortunately more than likely come out on top in those cases. Now, whether that will coincide with him being the new mayor of America, I want to remind people, they let this guy, write a book. And of course he didn't write the book, but he was a bestseller. They were pointing him out as America's governor. You can't make this up. They gave him an International Emmy Award. An International Emmy Award for his masterful COVID 1984 briefings. Don't talk about the nursing homes. Don't talk about the defiance to Donnie T. Don't talk about the nipple rings that he had on at one of those press conferences in a facility that was almost not utilized at all, and basically not utilized on the scale that it should have been. Instead, they went the route, of the nursing homes. Gonna be very careful here. Gonna be very careful. So look, I don't like it. I think this is a really bad thing. I think if you want to circumvent this guy getting into power, you need real election reform, okay? You're going to need voter ID. You're going to need a checks and balance system where you can audit that election, because New York State and New York City are just about as corrupt as it could possibly get. We're going to leave this a short one, especially when we maxed out at less than 25 live viewers here at YouTube. Less than 25 live viewers. Just incredible. Excuse me, folks. Folks, the links are down below. Again, it is a new era. Probably sometime next week, we're going to be doing live broadcasts with the suit jacket, with the MSOM graphics. It's going to be a little less than an hour show. It's going to be live streamed. It's going to be very different from what you're used to seeing via my MSOM. In other words, it's going to move from a show where there are commercials a show where I have these high-level guests. Again, I interviewed Kurt Weldon today. I mean, Kurt Weldon on the record today said that the CIA was paying firsthand 2 of the hijackers from 9/11. That should be a huge story. I don't know if it's going to get any traction. You follow me. You're part of the Bermas Brigade. You're hearing it here first, and you'll get to see that. But again, a lot of things changing. The links are down below to support the broadcast. Remember this, guy, it is not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys, and we will see you on the flip side.